Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the 404 Live.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Been a minute. Glad we're back. Of course, my partner in crime, Toy.
Hey.
And I'm the other partner in crime, James. But we have today another special guest who is a partner in crime. Very, very esteemed real estate agent, top of the food chain, Tamie Pettaway.
Baby. Thank you.
With Engels and Volkers.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yes, so we try to pick people who are very knowledgeable about topics related to real estate and the economy and what's going on. And I could not think of anybody at the moment who stuck out with me. Tamie has been in this game for well over 20 years, and we go way back. Yes, we go way back. So very knowledgeable, and want to have her here to share some things, some topics that we're going to talk about that are really hot right now. So with that said, let's go, Tamie.
All right, I go.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, my name is Tamie Pettaway, of course. I'm with Engel Volkers of Atlanta. I'm a mother of 6. Been married 3 years. Been in the business for 26 years.
Go.
Started out investing on my own, me and my husband, and from there, real estate was all she wrote.
Well, it's changed a lot. It had. Well, she's got.
Oh yeah.
Gotten into it.
Oh, for sure.
It's changed a lot. I think one of the hottest topics now is how everything is so unaffordable, to the point where it's almost scary. Some of the facts that we've been gifted from our producer today, some very startling statistical facts. The income in 1980 was $17,000 roughly. As of 2021, the latest year for which the data was available, the median household income rose to $67,000. The median income in the United States has increased approximately 280% from 1980 to 2021.
It's crazy.
Wow. Okay. So, but with that said, that's the income increase. So where are we with the housing market increase? Well, towards that,
Median price has gone up as high as 408. That's according to 2021 data. So it has definitely become unaffordable to say.
So that formula equals 532% in the increase of the price of a home as compared to the price of income, which is only at, what did I say? 280%. So those translate into the housing market and the housing crisis being very unaffordable in the city. Atlanta was just voted, I was reading in some article, the #1 unaffordable city in America for home ownership right now.
Yeah, that's sad.
It's sad, but there are still options and programs out there, James. They're trying. There are entities and organizations that really are trying to help.
But how do you combat this, George? So with factoring in inflation and all the equations, the income for a house, the formula was a home would cost you 4 times your income.
Right.
So, if I made $100,000, then typically average price of a house is $400,000.
Right.
Well, now that's gone up to 6 times. 6 times.
Right.
So the home is 6 times of what your income is, with the income staying at a pretty moderate level, not increasing more than maybe 9%, with the cost of homes skyrocketing.
Yeah, people are essentially buying homes later in life. Some of the millennials are more so traveling, and they're maybe buying in the 30s compared to their 20s. I bought my first house at 23. Unfortunately, some kids are still at home in their 20s. But nonetheless, like I said, that I am still optimistic. I'm positive. I met a police officer yesterday. She says she got a $60,000 grant to buy in Vine City because she's a police officer. She's a detective, to be exact. And she has to live there 5 years, and that money is forgivable. So there are still really cool programs out there. I'm excited to let people know about that.
There are programs out there, but how do you navigate kids coming out of college?
You know what? Let me just tell you, the bulk of my business is coming from millennials and boomers right now. So I'm looking at my millennials because I'm a mom of six, and I'm getting them ready. So I mean, they have an edge. I mean, an edge because I'm there for them. But a lot of them don't know, things to look for like budgeting and and preparing yourself for home ownership. But I think, like I said, mine is strictly my bulk has been millennials and boomers at this moment.
Okay.
So what about you?
I was going to say my bulk has been first timers and move up buyers just for the market itself. A lot of unfortunate things are happening. Maybe about 20% clip of people having to deal with probate and unfortunate situations as their parents are aging.
We had a discussion about probate not too long ago.
Yeah. That's
a big, definitely.
But even before we pivot to probate, let me go back here to this unaffordability for home. Like, I know when we were coming out of college or graduate schools, whatever, we could literally afford a house, right? I remember the formula being, well, you can afford 3 times your salary and this, that, and the third.
Right.
And you said there are programs, right? But are there programs, as somebody asked me, where they could buy a home with nothing down, essentially transferring that high rent payment to just a mortgage payment? And what I wanted to say, there's a lot.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, there are. There's Bank of the Ozark. There's Truist that has a CHIP program. Truist, BB&T and SunTrust merged. They have the CHIP program. There are still programs out there. The kicker is to get that money or to get that 100% financing, there's income limits. So if you make too much money, you can forget it. So if you make over $69,000, it's a done dollar. You're not gonna. It's like it's a magical dart of a window that you have to be in, and it's not for everybody, unfortunately. But to your point, it is there, but it's not a fit for everyone.
And also to add to that, now we're able to get closing costs. Remember, we couldn't even get closing costs.
Right.
2 years prior to now.
Back in the day.
So now we can ask for that. So that helps with that, money up front. So,
it does.
So,
but I just, this is the one generation we've always heard that this generation is slated not to do as well as a whole, right, as the previous generations. And sadly enough, I'm seeing that right now, and I'm trying to figure out what are the factors and how can we help this younger generation. I hear everybody talking about let's pay for college, let's pay for school.
Right.
Yeah, that's great and that's fine. But you got people coming out of school not having a job, having debt up to their ears, and then starting from a negative position with trying to buy a home. It ain't happening. And so my proposal is, just as adamant as you are about giving money for education, which is there. I'm all for education, I'm a product of it. But how about put that same effort and vigor into training people with trades, vocations, things that they can come out making money. Electricians, plumbers,
Right.
hell, carpenters, whatever. We always have the people to come and do something all in our house.
right.
Let's get a start there.
I do agree. That's huge.
Because not everybody can really play basketball, football, baseball, or rap.
Right.
Or be a TikTok or Instagram, phenom.
Well, you know what I'm doing with my kids too is I'm teaching them about legacy.
Right.
You hear that word all the time, but we don't do it as, as a family. A lot of us don't do that.
Sure.
So teaching them so they have that extra bonus that you're talking about preparing for with trades, they can already have that when they come out of college. So that's another thing I think we need to educate our kids on, so that they can have that generational wealth, so that they don't run into these things. And it's never too late, because people, what about the kids now? But we got to start somewhere.
We do.
So I think that, and that's one thing that I'm working on with my kids is, teaching them about that.
Well,
and making them do it.
That's an interesting point, and I do agree.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was watching Chris Rock special this weekend,
Oh,
he was talking about his girls.
I love it.
And how he spoiled them at private school. And I could relate. Like, I literally had that with my daughter and my son. They were in this private school in Atlanta. And, times they were the only minorities in certain classes. And they were in the entire school, a very small sect of minorities, and they always started really, really close now.
Yeah.
But I remember when she came home and she's thinking that, you know, I could roll like they roll. We could do what they do.
Yeah.
I said, baby, no. Let me tell you something. And then they get this almost this sense of, I don't want to say entitlement. Baby, don't hurt me, but
Entitlement.
right. And I was like the exact opposite. Like I'm not poor at all. I don't really identify as poor, but I can understand the struggle because I worked 2 or 3 jobs. And I was 12 years old. I never stopped working. I had chores. We raised the old school way. We worked. We ate whatever we kill. This culture now is the exact opposite. Why they don't do it? So I took a separate approach to that philosophy, and I tried to raise them along the same lines of I got mine, you get yours. I never told them I was paying for school. Never thought about it. They got scholarships. Wonderful. Woo. Thank you, Lord.
Yes, they could.
And now, they're both doing very well. My daughter's about to graduate from business school at Columbia.
Well, that's a big, what a big congrats.
And my son is in LA. He works for Netflix. Netflix, again, did a phenomenal thing with the Chris Rock. I thought that was brilliant how they did that live. But we're pivoting on Chris Rock now. Let's talk about.
You just had to go there.
Let's go.
How he raised his daughter. I thought that was a very good segue into the life of Chris Rock and some of the things he's went through. Now, so have gone through that, we're going to go through the slap heard around the world. What did you think about that special, that live?
I thought Chris, he played it safe. He waited to come out.
Okay.
He waited. He didn't speak for months.
Yes.
And teed up the special properly.
That's safe. But that may have been because Netflix offered him a whole bunch.
40
to shut up. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. I'm too.
I hadn't seen it in full yet.
Oh, God. Yes.
So I'm looking forward to watching it. But from the clips that I've seen, I think Chris Rock played it safe, and I'm not mad at some of the clips that I heard.
Well, he didn't play it to my.
What do you?
I didn't think he played it safe. I think he went all out. I think that
Did he go too far?
I think he did to some degree.
Okay.
I wish he had a.
Too far.
Yeah, what's too far?
It's too far.
In the comedic world.
I mean, he got kind of petty.
Okay.
Okay, because how's your point? You made your point. See, with me, when I make my point, I move on.
You move on.
But with him,
So he did.
just digging, he just kept digging and digging and digging. And I don't even know if it's going to stop there because now Will has to, come back and retaliate about what he did because he went there. He hit low, very low, in my opinion. So I'm just looking forward to hearing what Will's
gonna say.
Yeah, both of them, really, because I think Jada's more vocal than.
So I want to take a page from like ESPN Sports Show, pardon the interruption. Excuse me.
I don't agree.
I don't agree. I think first, we haven't been slapped on TV in the Oscars, and I think it took a lot of restraint for him to do that, and that's what you meant by playing it safe. Well, that's fine, but I don't think it was. He was offered a bunch of money to shut the hell up.
Okay, all right.
So having done that, I thought he picked his battles and he chose a good form to come back and say his piece. I mean, literally, his slap was the loudest slap in my estimation on
How he handled it.
how he handled it. Right. And what do you expect? A man has been humiliated in front of everybody. He's shown restraint. He's shown poise. And now it's his time.
My question is, okay, I'm talking to two sober. So my question is, if someone slapped you, do you think? I wouldn't think. When you're in my territory, you in my space, it's like my mind is not there. I'm not that mature enough to think, oh, let me see what I'm going to do next while this man slapped me on national.
Well, compare apples to apples.
But he's a big dude, so I'm assuming
Yes.
maybe there was a little fear.
There was shock. There was
Shot. Oh, wait, that's shot. Okay, y'all, take shot.
It was fear, and it was more or less, I'm not going to mess up the entire Oscars. Had he retaliated, there would have been fights on this stage. His camp would have come out. Well, it would have been like a NBA brawl. He had enough poise and I admire for this and enough character to say, hey, I'm not going to go lower than Will. My time is going to come. Now, I'm not going to mess this up for everybody else who's getting an award. That, to me, is phenomenal, and he gets kudos.
Yeah, he was. But the special, yes, he did. He hit below the bar. But what else is a comedian to do? And as he said, words are not a slap.
So words, a slap hurts. It hurt him emotionally. It hurt him in all different areas of what he does. But right now,
everything but his pocket.
Right. And like, yeah, it's true. Just said, how are Will and Jada going to combat this? And if I were them, I would just shut the hell up and let it
die down.
Because the more you keep stirring up, it's going to stay.
Just leave it alone. He's been banned for 10 years.
Yeah.
Even Chris Rock said he's not going back next year, to the Rex, because he's kind of old.
And see, the way comedy is doing it is more satirical in style. It's formed differently now. And you have little spices of hot. Some of the topics are very serious. Now, what I do not like is his take on maybe, the abortion way he talked about that. But hey, it's Chris Rock. It's his show.
Yeah.
He did what he did. He did his thing overall. And at the end, though, what I did like is he did inform a lot of people. Like he said, well, he was talking about race when Black babies come out,
Oh, I remember that.
They want to see they look behind here to say it's my brand. So it was informative and it was enlightening on a lot of other topics besides the infamous Oscar slap.
Right.
But I think he did, by and large, I think he did a pretty good job. I was reading the reviews, and a lot of people really, they had opposing views.
Mixed reviews.
Yeah. But, that's just my opinion.
Does he have to do another show? Is a question.
Not about that. I think he said it. He's good for a while.
He's good for a while.
I think he should be, and he's not, because that was a lot. Well, you got to watch the end. It was definitely a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
So deep.
It went deep.
But I'm just still stuck with all that went through his mind when somebody slapped him. I can't get over that part. But I agree. I think he handled it like a champ, and it worked out into his benefit in the long run. So how about I slap you with some information? Let's be
okay.
I just found out that single women are killing it. Yep, they're killing it in home and ownership versus men. Did y'all know that?
It's not surprising.
It's not.
Why is that not?
That's not surprising.
Why do you say that?
Because you look at society as a whole.
Right.
Women are doing their thing. They are really running and are in a lot of non-traditional positions of authority with men, older white men, and typically white men have run companies and been CEOs and been the leaders here and there. And now, you're having women, in particular Black women, African-American women now coming into the fold and running.
They're the high-level positions that once were not.
But are they getting paid?
Available.
But are they getting paid?
That's a different conversation. No, I don't think they're getting paid to do work, but I think they're receiving income that they've never received before, putting them in a position to have a home on.
Yes.
So why don't you guys think that it's about the women being more of a go-getter? Because men still have the same opportunity, the same privilege.
Right.
They make more money. You guys open up that door for me.
Right.
So why aren't they?
Well, I think it's society as a whole has been more tolerant of things now than they were back in the day.
True.
I mean, the whole culture has changed. This whole culture has changed. So, I dare you keep a woman out of the boardroom. I dare you keep a woman out of the CEO job. I dare you keep a woman from being this, being a judge, being in a position of authority. I dare you. That's not going to happen right now.
But your question on the floor is, are women more go-getters?
There you go.
So I will say ladies are taking over. I feel like in Atlanta, there's a high ratio of women to men. So I think you're seeing a little bit of that. We always hear 18-1. So there are actually more women in Atlanta than maybe there are men. And my office is ran by ladies, my office manager, my marketing manager, James, and that's a female in the partnership group. So I think it's a numbers game. Right now, even down renovating houses or down to running an office, I pick the brains of the ladies around me so that I'm not operating from a certain egotistical or masculine perspective or one-sidedness. I'll leave it at that. Yep, that's my personal spin on. And I see a lot of amazing small business women killing the game.
Yeah.
And I've been listening to some of their podcasts, and they're grounded by family first, and then they make decisions second. So that's some things that I've heard from Pinky Cole to just small business leaders. I'm trying to think. Joy runs a podcast. She just got an NAACP award. So I see a lot of women doing that thing.
And Tim, let me just piggyback.
Yeah.
On that. I don't think it's more than being more of as much of it being a go-getter. I think that y'all have always been that way. It's just now that the doors are open, you all have opportunities.
There's confidence too.
Yeah.
Black Girl Magic, and so there are movements behind you ladies having success, and we're here to support it.
That's a great answer. Is there any other? That's a great comeback. Okay, I can appreciate that. I can definitely appreciate that.
And it's just, like I said, the culture has definitely changed. And not even in regards to just females, women, but the culture as a whole. Younger culture, older culture, middle-aged culture. I think some of the Republicans are overusing the woke expression right now.
It's too much.
Yeah, because they use everything. They don't understand what woke is, right? I think it's culturally different now, and times have changed, and we are more, what's the word I'm trying to use? We are more traditional.
I was going to say it's more visible to women.
That's one of the things on my list.
Both of my grandmothers never worked.
Right.
It was 7 siblings on one side, 9 siblings on the other. They were simply homemakers. Wonderful homemakers at that, right? So therefore, some of your other generation, that's what they saw. They were more comfortable. Yeah. Now, ladies growing up are seeing amazing things. So I think the general public and perception has changed through social media as well.
Being a homemaker, that's a bad word to about.
I have to be careful how I say it.
A lot of people see that as a bad word. I think it's bad to honor because you got to have home right and everything else done. Be it man or woman. It doesn't have to be relegated to a gender. It could be just homemaker.
I know some great stay-at-home dads.
Yeah.
And I need to hold it down for their kids.
I know. So, go back to homeownership. Sorry.
But, and another thing, what do you think about the fact that it could be because the rental rates are so high, people are actually buying now versus renting these high-end properties, but these high rates.
Yeah.
So, there's a number of reasons that it could be, but I just thought it was an interesting conversation.
Rent is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
It is. I don't see how people can afford not to buy right now, or at least try to buy. When you have 1,100 square feet apartments in certain parts of the city going for $2,800, up to $3,000, and that rent. Now
rents are coming down. Actually, there's some pressures on rents where they're coming down. Most rental listings we list right now, they're renting it maybe 36 days compared to a year ago. They were leasing it 5 to 6 days. So we're seeing a lot of heavy pressure on rentals.
Residential
rentals at this moment.
I was talking about more like apartment.
Oh, apartment.
Yeah. But yeah, residential.
I know. I've talked to our videographer here as well on how his apartment complex is empty. So we're actually seeing an emptying of some apartment complexes because there's so much more competition as well. And that's one thing we see in Atlanta is there's so much more competition of apartment buildings. Now, secondly, this is a cool thing. I'm going to flip the narrative for 2 minutes. Some apartment complexes in Atlanta are actually allowing tenants or renters to sublease for short-term rental for additional income from an Airbnb. There's a can't think of the complex, but it's across the street from Lenox Mall, high-rise condo. They're actually allowing that. So things like that are actually shifting, and I'm all for it. Mix it up, baby. Bring it on. I love that things are changing.
I don't know about that.
I need people to buy. And I need, and then too, if I'm a renter in the building, I don't want someone to sublease because the drama and all the extra stuff that could, it's too much going on in the city. Yeah,
I can see that.
So I'm opposed to that, but people are doing what they feel they have to do to make ends meet.
Well, I have too from a liability standpoint. Like you said, you don't know who's coming in. If I'm, managing an apartment complex, I'm gonna be very selective, but you have to be careful because you can be too selective to the point where it becomes profiling and racial.
Correct.
So how you find that happy balance, I don't know. I don't have to figure it out right now. Thank God.
We're gonna let you on that task force share.
No, God, they can have the. But there is definitely something to be said about the rental market in Atlanta. It is ridiculous, and I don't really see it as a whole coming down. So people always say, "Oh, is it the best time to buy?" Hell yeah, it's always the best time to buy.
Yeah.
Now we're just talking about rates,
Right.
In this scheme, because interest rates right now.
Mom and dad said it's all
Right.
But my argument to them is their house price was $82,000.
Yeah.
Touche.
I said, great, you paid 18%. Now prices are a lot higher.
But if you adjust inflation and what it was back then, the cost of living, it balances out, right? So right now, I think it's like mid sixes. It's going to probably go up some. We can see 7.5. And in the grand scheme of things, that's not altogether bad.
Right.
It's not. This market, we have it changes every 7 years. It's a 7-year cycle typically for real estate. Are we going to see 3s and 2s again? I don't think probably in my lifetime. I really don't think we're going to see that.
I have a diagram right now. Last week I was in Las Vegas for the RE/MAX R4 convention. And they show a diagram of a 50-year history, and it showcased the average. The 50-year average is technically 7.76, and we're actually under that. So from 1973 to rates were 8.04 in 1973. So obviously today we were at 6.55. The average from 1973 to 2023 is 7.76. So where we are today, we're actually better off than the average. And that's what is important for us to continue to let people know.
Right. I was pretty much on when I said 7%. I didn't see that, but I just kind of gauging the trends of what's going on, right? That's where we're going to be. And if people get their head around 3s and 2s are golf.
Can't let that go.
Right. Let's get back to what's over because we have to, or else we're not going to have too much of an economic viable economy because inflation is out of control. And the feds are trying to struggle and get it back in the box, but I think it's a little too late. But we'll address that in the next segment.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you, Tamie. It's been awesome.
You gonna hang around about this over in a little bit?
Well, some of us gotta do some work out here, make money, okay?
Yeah, well, thank you for coming. It was fantastic. Thank you for being here and share with us your knowledge, and we look forward to having you back again.
Sounds like a plan.